Keynote speaker. Well, like I said, Linda Marie Miller is the second place winner for the 2020 World Champion of Public Speaking. That actually means that she's the first women speaker. So I'm pretty excited to have her speak here today. Her keynote that she's done for us is going to be about preparing for a quality contest online. So I am happy to see you. And on that note, I am going to hand the virtual lectern over to you, and there will be virtual applause from all of us.
Thank you very much, Erin. And great. Well, I'm Linda Marie Miller, and she's right. I call myself the #1 female public speaker in the world because my car is a man and he's first place. And I won second place last year. Now, I'm a relatively new Toastmaster. I don't know all that much about how to manage an excellent contest. I know about how to win a contest. So the first thing I want to ask, and I want you to help me out by putting it as a reaction on the screen. If you are here because you are a contestant that will be competing in any contest, I don't know what contest you're having up there, I want you to give me a thumbs up on the reaction bar if you are. I see a couple there, 3. It is my crystal clear intention to have more than that, more thumbs up by the end of this session. I absolutely am committed to people stepping into the arena of speaking. Whether it's table topics or tall tales or whatever it is, I'm committed to people stepping up to the line and competing the way that I did. If you're already committed, good for you. If you're not already committed, I want you to spend at least this part of the evening that I'm speaking to think about it and be in the space of possibility for what can happen for you if you step into the speaking arena. I'm here to turn around the thinking of other participants as well. If you are a timer on a contest, if you are a chief judge, I want you to rethink how you come to the contest. I want you to come to it knowing that you're making a difference in the world by doing it. Now, if you are thinking about being a contestant, but you don't think you can do it, I'm here to tell you that you can. If you think you don't have anything to say, i.e., you don't have a valuable speech to deliver, I'm here to tell you that you do. You have an unmined story that can change the world. If you think that you might be too afraid, I'm here to tell you this. That doesn't matter at all. And why am I telling you all of this? Well, I've got some good news and some bad news about that. And I'm going to give you the bad news first. The bad news is we're all going to be dead soon. And by dead, I mean kick the bucket, bought the farm, taking a dirt nap, pushing up daisies. Think about it. In 100 short years, give or take a few, everyone on this planet will be gone, including you and me, replaced by all new people. That's the bad news. The good news is, now you know the bad news. And when you know, just like my final speech, you can no longer pretend not to know. So what does it mean? By the way, you're welcome for filling you in on that. If we're going to change the world, it's time to start doing that now. With this COVID thing happening, I'm in my 60s. I could be gone by the end of the week. Who knows? Time for me to jump in and change the world every opportunity that I get. Where do I get my inspiration to speak? I don't have to go any further than this young lady. I was inspired to change the world by a little girl named Melissa. Melissa was born with 2 very rare chromosome abnormalities, monosomy 10q syndrome, trisomy 5p syndrome. Only 9 live recorded births in history with this bizarre chromosome rearrangement. The doctor told her parents she wouldn't even live a week. I know this because I am Melissa's mother. The doctors told me she will never speak. She will never walk. She will never hold her head up. She will never know her name. She will never count to 10. On her medical chart, under diagnosis, they actually listed genetic mutant. Imagine that. Genetic mutant. The doctors told us to take her home, make her comfortable for what would be a very, very, very short life. What I heard them say is that my daughter would never make a difference in the world, would never make a difference for anyone but me, that she didn't matter to anyone but me, that she had no value to add the world. Now, Melissa did not die when she came home. She went on to have 33 surgeries, including 2 open heart surgeries and a skull surgery and all kinds of other nonsense. But eventually I had to go back to work. You can imagine it is not easy to find daycare as a single mother for a child with so many birth defects. She had a tracheostomy and a gastrostomy tube, all kinds of things. I looked and I looked and I looked and I couldn't find anybody other than a $35 an hour nurse. And then I met Cheryl Stark. She was just a somebody who wanted to make a difference, who wanted to help me out. She came to me, she said, I don't know anything about taking care of a special needs child, but if you will teach me, I will be the one to take care of her. And I taught Cheryl. I taught her everything she needed to know. And she took care of Melissa for a number of years till I moved away. We stayed in touch for a while, but like all friends do, you get on with your busy life. I was working, she was raising her family, and we lost touch. Then when Melissa was 19 years old, which she was in this picture, by the way, she died. She got the whooping cough and she died. As part of my grieving process, I reached out to everybody in my life that had ever helped me as a single mother with raising her. And Cheryl was one of the first people that I reached out to because she had made she made it possible for me to even go back to work to keep the insurance benefits I needed to take care of Melissa. Melissa had had such a profound effect on Cheryl and her husband. I was shocked to learn that she had gone on to adopt 6 severely impaired children. Not just take care of, adopt. She and her husband adopted these children out of a state institution where they had been abandoned by families that could not afford or just didn't want to take care of them. Imagine that. Melissa made a difference for these 6 children. And as a result of how Melissa was being in the world, these 6 children, severely impaired, had a loving family and still today live a life as part of a family. And that's not all. Cheryl had children of her own, and Melissa had touched their hearts so much that they went on to study and get degrees in the field of taking care of special needs children. How did a little girl that couldn't write her name, that couldn't speak or do math, how did that little girl change the futures of so many people? I believe it was Melissa's life purpose. Imagine the difference that you can make, that I can make in the world with all of the skills and tools that we have in our Toastmasters toolbox. We have no excuses about not being able to change the world. All we have to do is choose it. Choose to speak, choose to be involved in Toastmasters, and there's no better place to start than in a Toastmasters contest. It does, however, take courage. Whatever role you're playing, but especially if you're a contestant, it takes courage First of all, to stand up to the voice in your head. For me, it's a little voice that sits on my shoulder, in my ear all the time. What is that voice telling me? You can't win a contest. You know you don't like being judged. You are afraid of failure. You have no experience in entering a contest. That was a big one it was telling me when I entered last year. I was so intimidated by all the past winners that I believed what that voice was telling me, because I'd never been in a contest before. It told me, you're too old. You're in your 60s. This is a young man's game. What is your voice telling you? You're too young. You're too old. You haven't been a Toastmaster long enough. I hadn't even been in Toastmasters 9 months when I entered. Think about the top 3 things that voice in your head is telling you when I say to you, I'm going to speak at Toastmasters and I'm going to change the world. Think about what comes up for you. And then tell that voice that you're just not going to listen. That voice is always talking to me, though. It's talking to me right now. It started talking to me the minute I turned my camera on. Linda Marie, sit down. Nobody wants to hear anything you have to say. You're boring. These people have probably been Toastmasters for a long, long time. They know how to do a contest. They probably have already been contestants many times. They don't need you to tell them anything. You're making a fool of yourself. They're laughing at you. That's a big one. You're laughing at me just like they laughed at me in college. I had one of the most humiliating speaking events of my life the very first time I spoke. Now, I've had many more. This is just epic speaking humiliation number 1 of 27. I'll be up to 27. Maybe I'll hit 28 tonight. It was the University of Georgia, 1979, 3rd year business management class, where I had to get up in front of 100 plus students in theater style seating to present a business case for a company I'd been working on, Lazy Boy. You know, the people that make the recliners. Back then, I was terrified of public speaking. I had done all the work to create an amazing presentation, but I had huge anxiety many days before, all the way leading up. I had my charts ready, I had my graphs ready, but I tried to get out of it. I tried to let someone else do the presentation for me, but 50% of the grade was how you presented it. So there was no getting around it. The evening before, I was in such a state of panic that my dorm mate said, hey, Linda Marie, we got a great idea. Go out with us. Let's have a couple of beers. It'll calm you down. You'll sleep great tonight, and you won't be worried about going to do this presentation. Lucky for me, it was Tuesday night in Athens, Georgia, and at the B&L warehouse, it was a penny a beer night, and I had a quarter. So I knew I was set. The plan worked. I went with my friends. I drank maybe about 10 cents worth. Came back very late, stripped out of my clothes, fell into bed, forgot to set the alarm. I slept like a baby though, no anxiety at all. Woke up, oh my gosh, I'm late to class. Grabbed my things, jumped into my jeans, and off I ran to class. Late to class, just in time to hear my name being called. Linda Marie, step to the stage. I had no time to think about it. I grabbed my things. I went down to the stage. Shaking like a leaf, I looked down just to kind of try to get myself together. And that's when I saw it. Right here. A bulge of some type between my skin and my tight jeans, bell-bottom jeans, I thought, what's going on? And then I realized what they were. I had fallen into bed, stripped out of my clothes so quickly and jumped back into them that when I shimmied out of my tight jeans the night before, I shimmied out of my little panties at the same time. And when I jumped back into my jeans in the morning, there they were, still in my jeans, now lodged right here, right between my leg and my dignity. A pair of pink panties with puppies on them. Now, I don't know if you've ever had one of those situations where your mind just starts playing forward what's about to happen. It probably wasn't 5 seconds, but my mind played out the whole experience that was about to roll out. It was kind of like watching Titanic, fast forwarding when I'm at the beginning of the movie. In my mind, it was clear to me as I moved around the stage, showing my graphs, showing my charts, those little panties were going to move through my jeans. And when they reached my knee, because I was wearing bell bottoms, those pretty pink panties with puppies were going to fall straight out on the floor. All eyes straight to the floor, right to my feet. My professor would scream. The girls would pass out. The boys would start throwing dollar bills at me. I would be forever remembered as the lazy boy stripper of UGA 1979. Now, all that happened in a few short moments as I played it out, but I had no choice but to continue to present. I did try to avert the inevitable. I walked around like this. I walked around, I held my leg. I tried to walk like I had a peg leg. I tried to lift my leg up. You would have thought I was practicing for the Olympics. No matter what I did, it kept working its way down. And finally, horror of horrors, it did happen. Towards the end of my presentation, right out onto my sneakers fell my pretty pink panties with puppies on them. I wanted to die. I looked around for some kind of a trap door that I could kick them into or fall into myself. And by the end of my presentation, all eyes were staring at my left foot. I had nothing else to do except at the end of my presentation to lean over, pick them up nonchalantly, and stuff them into my back pocket. I then left the presentation, left the building, left the school, didn't come back for 2 days, swore I would drop out. When I did come back, it seemed everyone had forgotten, but I still stayed in the back of the room for the rest of the short semester. It was finals, so there weren't that many classes left. I tell you that story because A, you want to be careful when you're getting your jeans on in the morning. Don't have a wardrobe malfunction, especially if you're going off to do a speaking event. I have never had that kind of a wardrobe failure since then, but I've had other epic, horrifying moments on stage. I had absolutely nothing in me that ever wanted to speak again after that moment, after that happened to me. But I'll tell you what, when Melissa inspired me by how she was able to change the world without even the ability to speak, just by being an inspiration, I knew that I could step into the arena again. I could step in, leave my fear behind me, and keep speaking. Every time I speak, I'm afraid. When I entered the last year's contest, I was terrified. At every level, I was terrified. I'd only been a Toastmaster for 9 months when I leaned in and said, I'm in it to win it. Once you say yes to whatever it is, the hard part is over. You have stood up to the voice in your head. Whether it's to be an evaluator or to be a contest judge or to be a contestant, the rest of it, you'll find out. You don't even need to have a speech to say you're going to be in the speech contest. You can figure all that stuff out later. Some of it in the breakout session, I'm going to help you with. I'm going to tell you the top 10 tricks to winning a contest and creating an amazing contest speech. So who's ready to do it? Are you ready to step up and change the world? The paradigms are shifting. It's time to step up. We have the ability to change the world virtually, globally. When my speech streamed last year, my final speech, 50,000 people were watching. That's amazing. And after I delivered that speech, half of them contacted me. Thousands of white people contacted me. How can I get involved and change the world and end racism and homophobia and all of the other isms in the world? It's been an amazing journey since then. Whatever your message is, the world wants to hear it. I've spoken to over 100,000 people in 45 countries in the last 6 months. They want to know your messages. I challenge you, even if you're not entering the contest, prepare a speech and go across the other side of the world and deliver it. They will love to hear people from Canada coming there to do their speeches. So step up, step in, and if you're ready to take on your contest in total excellence, I'm here to help you. If you're a contestant in the breakout room, I'm going to show you how, but I'm also going to give you a deal. If you are a contestant, you will get my website address. If you send your name on the contact button, I'm going to do a drawing. And whoever wins the drawing, if you have to be committed by the end of tonight to be a contestant. Whoever enters the drawing, I will give coaching to for the contest, which is something I only do for contestants that hear me speak at an event like this. So if you're interested in that, you'll see my website and you'll do that. Anyone else who wants help with anything that they're doing, you can always reach out to me. I am totally about helping Toastmasters hone their skills so they can speak and change the world with their messages. So be an inspiration. If you can't inspire yourself, find someone to be your inspiration. Find someone to work with you. Find someone that can help you write your speech, someone in your Toastmasters club. Let's have an amazing contest season and step in and step up. Compete and let's change the world. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
I thank you so much, Linda Marie. At least as Toastmaster, I have the benefit of actually doing the real life class. There was so much value in the things that you presented, and I am just so thankful actually for D99 that you were able to come here and do that presentation with us today. And for me, and not to brag, I'm just saying I pretty much lucked out with my co-host in the next breakout session. There were so many valuable lessons there, and I have to say I completely 100% share that moment with you with the wardrobe malfunction.